Hey, what's up everybody? It's Jason. I am back again with another video. And this one is a video response to Rob Walker. I think it's Rob Walker Let the Music Play. He is celebrating a milestone, 200 videos. So bravo, Rob. I'm sure the 200 videos also crept up on you just as it has many of us. When you start this thing, you probably think, I'm never going to make 200 videos, but lo and behold, here it is. So congrats on that. Take a drink of coffee here for you in my Frida Kahlo / Bowie mug. Got this down in Mexico last year. I'm going to be heading back to Mexico City again real soon. See what vinyl I get there. But for Rob's thread recognition, and I saw somebody else do a video as well, video response, Mike the Vinyl Spiral, I think. He wants us to show 30 big ones. 30 12-inch singles from our collection. Now, as you guys all know from my collection, which goes on for days here, I actually have a lot of singles. I would say about 50% of my records are 12-inch singles. Being a DJ and just collecting over the years so many like house and techno and electronic music and hip-hop as well, a lot of singles in hip-hop. A lot of the collection is 12-inch singles, but I'm not going to show too many of house and techno ones for this one. I decided I will save that maybe for a later treat we've got planned. I'll have more news about that at the end of the video for a potential live stream coming up. Also, because a lot of those singles, well, they tend to just look like this, sort of plain sleeves, nothing too exciting to show, right? So I will show, I think, all singles that have some cover art at least to show. Anyway, so let's dive into this thing because there's a lot to show. I'm going to start off with one of my favorite bands of all time, of course, Public Enemy. And I love these singles that came out in the UK. I used to like read the NME all the time and check the charts, and I was like just fascinated by how popular hip-hop was blowing up in their indie charts over there, crossing over, etc. And I love seeing the cover art of some of these early 12-inch singles by Public Enemy and other bands. I mean, they always had cover art for one thing. Don't Believe the Hype comes in a plain sleeve in the Canadian and US market, and I have copies of that I think too. But this is the British version, UK version. So you got Don't Believe the Hype, The Rhythm, The Rebel, a cappella. You got Prophets of Rage vocal and power version on the back too. So that was the other cool thing, is it got a lot of cool unreleased versions and remixes, etc. on some of those singles. And here's another one. This one is a stateside single, I believe, from Public Enemy. That's the U.S. pressing of Black Steel and the Hour Chaos. Both of these, of course, from the second album, the legendary It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. This is the one with the video of Chuck D in the prison system, talking about prisons. Yeah, killer single, and one of the few on the U.S. side with cover art. I guess they had a few that had cover art. Also out of New York City, hip hop related. Got to go with some early Beastie Boys here. She's On It. This one's kind of a rare one. I definitely remember the video when it came out. This is the pictures from the video. And this is not on the album, though. This is not on License to Ill or any album. It's just was released as a single. Flip side, of course, is Slow and Low from the Beasties. Not from New York, but absolutely dedicated to New York. This is Nina Hagen's New York, New York. Killer single. Love this 12-inch version because you also get the German version. German lyrics version. Nina Hagen, great fusion crossover artist, punk, funk, disco, you name it. This is actually produced by Giorgio Moroder as well. Didn't realize that at first. And this is a cool one I picked up not long ago in New York City. This is a classic, cool samples and everything. A lot of cool people involved in this one. This is Bonzo Goes to Washington in 5 minutes. Starts off with the sample of Ronald Reagan phoning in. This is before AI, so this is an actual recording, not a doctored up thing, where he actually phoned into a radio station as a joke and said, "We're gonna begin. We've outlawed Russia, and we're gonna begin bombing Russia in 5 minutes." So I thought that was kind of cute and very current with presidents of the United States. and their nonchalant attitudes. Yeah, so this is on Sleeping Bag Records, which was Arthur Russell's label, seminal label for like cool ass underground dance music, etc., from New York, and it has music by Jerry Harrison of Talking Heads, and Bootsy Collins as well involved in this. Got a big old bass line in this track. Really cool track, cool sample track. I got a few records in here that are kind of just that early '80s like sample based stuff. How about some straight up hip hop? Going back to some hip hop again. I guess I'm kicking off with hip hop here. EPMD. Totally love this. Love all the early EPMD stuff. First two albums especially, and just every single from the first album is totally kick ass. The whole album is top to bottom wicked. This is I'm Housen and Get Off the Bandwagon. Still play this often. Yeah, a lot of these I picked are like ones I play very frequently. For some reason, I always like to play this one by Tom Tom Club, not their more popular track, but Wordy Rappin' Hood. It's their rap fusion track. They were, of course, an offshoot of Talking Heads as well, so Tom Tom Club, kind of a fun, kooky track. This is a West German pressing on Island Records. Found that single in the wild one day for $10, it looks like. Here's one I got for $4. Also kind of out of New York City, right? Plasmatics and Wendy O. Williams. I'm not sure she was from New York City originally, but found her way there. Butcher Baby, killer punk, leaning into metal a little bit. This is on the Stiff label, actually, out of the UK. Great single there. Got a live version on the back of Living Dead, Sometimes I. So, Plasmatics. Speaking of UK, let's get into a bit of electronic. Now, I didn't pick a lot of techno or house to show, but I thought I'd show a little Prodigy. It's one of the first bands that got me into rave music, I guess, if you will. Especially the first album. This is off the second album. This is also killer. Music for the Jilted Generation. Love that first album, though, too, the Prodigy Experience, with all this super, super fast, rapid breakbeat style. This album, also quite fast. Voodoo People. It's also got a slow, awesome, kick-ass remix on here, too, by the Dust Brothers, a.k.a. the Chemical Brothers. They had to change their name because of a whole thing. But, yeah, there's the Prodigy and the Voodoo People. I have still a whole bunch of singles by the Prodigy I collected when I was younger, and just I would buy all of them, basically. They're strewn about here somewhere. Gonna go with this legendary artist too, Richard James, aka Aphex Twin. You may recognize him on the back here. This is not going by Aphex Twin on this one, actually. He's going by Polygon Window. It's a cool little side project for, I think it was a album or single series by Warp Records. I think it's called the Artificial Intelligence series, actually. Anyway, the single is called Quoth. It is a total banger. One of the best banginest techno beats you've heard. Very minimalist and tribal and wonky, as you would expect from Aphex Twin. Kind of a rare, clear, see-through record from back in the day, the 90s. It's like, came out in like 93. I remember getting that in Montreal. And a couple house records to show you guys from the late 90s. Some Cassius in the house. This one's got a split on the bottom here. But Cassius 99 and Cassius Feeling For You. Just great disco loops kind of style. French house, French filter house, a la Daft Punk or UK's version Basement Jacks. These guys were big in the late 90s. A couple of cool cuts. Where do we want to go next? Sticking with some UK here. I want to stick with some UK before I finish off with some industrial. Yeah. Alright, so get this one out of the way because Mr. Rob Walker showed this, I believe, in his rundown of singles. One of the few Smith singles I own as well. Got this for dirt cheap back in the day. $6 used. And OG Press. I think I got this like in high school. Still have my copy all these years. It's a Canadian press. Yeah, on WIA, Rough Trade WIA. Boy with Thorn Inside and Rubber Ring Asleep. So, a few Smith singles I've got. That easily goes for about 40 bucks these days. Um, then this is kind of a cool, obscure one. I'm not sure how many people in the VC would know this one, but man, this when I first heard this track, kind of blew my mind. This is before Cold Cut, still in the era of like hip hop, like 80s hip hop, and like the sample based groups like Tech Head, um, and some others that names are escaping me right now. But this is Steinsky. I think this is a New York based artist, but this one blew up in the UK. Steinsky and Mass Media, and yeah, like I was saying, I remember reading in the NME. Like I think this was like in the charts or something over there, maybe the indie charts. But this is we'll be right back, which is a sample of is it Walter Cronkite and just the news media. Really fun. Almost seems completely naive these days, right? With all fake news and AI and everything else. But man, this was like revolutionary at the time. Using samplers, making some funky tracks out of them. Could kind of get away with it before everybody got sued, right? And then the end of the golden era of hip hop, as I was talking about in '93, when it was just absolutely impossible to use samples anymore. This is like early days, although the KLF's original group, Justified Ancient Moo, got in quite a bit of heat with their sample-based records. I think they were ordered to burn all their records at one point. Um, Speaking of sample-based stuff, hip-hop influenced, I was playing this one earlier, Meat Beat Manifesto. Um, they're UK-based, right? I think Jack Dangerous. Strap Down, killer single, a lot of hip-hop kind of samples. Um, Kind of like a preview far before 10 years before the new metal scene using which would use rap and hip-hop into metal. These guys were infusing rap and hip-hop into industrial and EBM. Here's another one by them, God OD, on the Wax Trax label. Meat Beat Manifesto. Fun EBM stuff. A little darker here on the Canadian side of the house. We got some Skinny Puppy. And these singles are becoming more and more expensive and rare to find in the wild. I think I paid about 40 bucks or 50 bucks for this one, actually. This is Dig It. Pretty nice copy of it, too. Love these Skinny Puppy singles. I got the Choke on the flip side. Early Skinny Puppy era, first few albums are the best. I think also, too, like, these singles have gone up in price because I don't think they've been reissued at all. All this early network stuff. Here's another one I'll show too, which is the single for Chainsaw. Skinny Puppy, another good single. There's that. And then just seeing this band live, doing the old stuff actually. They did perform this song as well. This is Ministry in Cold Life. Yeah, sorry for the voice on this video. I'm just getting over a nasty cold this week, actually. Been kind of laid up for the whole week, but this is Ministry's Cold Life. Super funky track. This is not what you would expect by Ministry at all. If you have never heard the first two albums, your mind will be blown if you are only familiar with the hard-hitting metal side of Ministry. But these are the roots of Ministry right here. Synth pop, new wave, funky, big old bass line on this thing, and horns too. There's actually like a horn section on this thing too. Cold Life also his faux British accent as well in the first two albums. So yeah, Cold Life. I got double copies of this. This is the European pressing of this one, I think, on labels this on. I think I've got a Wax Trax version too. Yeah, this is on Situation 2. Where was this label from? Made in France. This is a French pressing of Cold Life by Ministry. So that's a cool 80s one. I'm playing an 80s, kind of 80s themed vinyl night soon, so I think a few of these are going to end up in the set list soon. This one's a little heavier, harder hitting stuff, but this is also on Wax Trax. Pankow. You wouldn't know from that writing, but oh yeah, there it is, Pankow. For some reason, every time I see this one in the wild, I always seem to see it with this promo cut, kind of the corner too. But these guys are from Italy, I think northern Italy. It's a duo, kind of like Nitzareb, vocalist and synth guy. Wicked stuff. Very cool EBM industrial. um, shouty lyrics, etc. And co, good stuff. Then I got this one to show out of Belgium, another EBM industrial band, Neon Judgment, classic. Now, this is a group that kind of evolved or changed their style a little bit over the years. Their later stuff experiments a lot with like sort of early techno, not to great success, I don't think, but this one I absolutely love. It's called Awful Day. Bleak, cold wave, very post-punk, kind of Bauhausian with the vocals, like Peter Murphy style. Great single. This is on Play It Again Sam Records out of Brussels, Belgium, back in the day. Classic single. Don't get more classic than this, of course. Had to show my front 242 Headhunter. Man, everybody should own this single if you don't. I got doubles. This is my $1.99 one that I found in a thrift store bin. I couldn't believe it. That was a legendary story I tell often. Some killer records that I found that day, all for $1.99, including this one was in there. So, yeah, had to snatch it up, even for a double copy. Came out in '88, I guess. Headhunter's still played to death now, and it is played to death everywhere you go. So, all right, a couple newer things. Silent Servant, out of L.A., who unfortunately passed away last year of drug overdose. Very tragic. Him and a couple of other producers as well, artists. He was really carrying on the whole industrial synthwave sound. Now he is gone. Lost to us. Juan Mendez, his name, aka Silent Servant. This is Hand in Hand single. The album for this also, I think, has the same cover, a very similar cover. That's on Hospital Productions, which is also the label of this artist, who owns Hospital Productions out of New York City. This is Vatican Shadow. And I pulled this one because it's got a little bit of a Middle Eastern theme. Vatican Shadow, Dominic Faro, he goes by a bunch of different names, different styles, usually dark, industrial, ambient, experimental. This is sort of the industrial techno kind of project, and for some reason, well, I'm sure he's explained the reason, but it's completely related to the Gulf War of the 90s. It's like a whole theme on 1990s Iraq War, etc. I think extended into the War on Terror as well. This one is the Iraqi Praetorian Guard single. Very ominous. Not actually on his Hospital Productions label. This one is on the UK label, Blackest Ever Black. And it's got a killer remix by Regis on that one. Very good techno remix. Now, since we're in the heavier territory, I will show this one next from New York City. No Wave Sludge Gods, Swans, at least in their early days. This is actually quite industrial too, because I think that has drum machine as well. Time is Money Bastard. 12-inch single on the K422 label. I was really lucky to have picked up a bunch of the early Swan stuff that I wanted maybe like 10, 15 years ago now, including this one. This is off the Greed album, based on that dollar bill cover. Also out of New York City, maybe out of Jersey. Were you guys from Jersey? Nuclear Assault. Killer thrash in the States. This album, or single, sorry, opens up into a whole ginormous poster, which I'm not going to do right now, but Fight to Be Free. Very U.S. sentiment philosophy. On a UK label called Under One Flag, which is a pretty famous metal label from the UK. So one of the few metal 12 inches I have. I don't have a lot of 12 inches in metal category. A lot of EPs, and I took great pains to sort of divide out EPs from 12 inches for this video because, you know, there can be a lot of confusion and crossover between an EP and a 12 inch, I think, especially in the techno realm. A lot of EPs in techno, a lot of EPs in punk, metal as well. But for me, a distinction was 12 inch generally only had one or two songs, or one main song, right, which was the name of the single usually, and then the flip side is either other versions or a couple of other tracks, versus an EP which might have a totally different title and 4 or 5 different tracks altogether. So, carrying on with a couple more industrial EBM records to show. Legendary one here, Young Gods, out of Switzerland. Love this single. This is the Did You Miss Me? Kooky little track, very showman-like, and the Erdem Boys on the backside, very good B-side single as well. Love that since I first heard it back in the day. And then, of course, got to show some Nitzer Ebb, R.I.P. Douglas McCarthy, the original vocalist. This is Control M Here on Mute Records. A banger of a track. All the tracks are bangers, really. Got to be it's a heavy loss to the industrial EBM community for sure. I've got some originators here of electro music, Kraftwerk. It's a later single. It's from '86. Music Nonstop. Great single. I think this has like FK remixes on this, doesn't it? Yeah, Francois Kevorkian, who was a big New York City-based DJ and producer, doing some remix duties on there as well. Now back to the UK with a band that was really interesting to me. I always heard of them, but I didn't have anything by them until very recently. I found this single in the wild, found it in Montreal. Rip, Rig, and Panic. Super cool, punk funk, avant funk, no wave, but a little bit more fun than some of the sludge heaviness of and noise of the usual New York City no wave scene. It's actually members of the pop group, Mark Stewart's pop group, so very politically left-leaning stuff, and experimental jazz as well in here too. It's really cool. This is a single, You're My Kind of Climate, which I think is fairly palatable, and B-side is She Gets So Hungry at Night, and She Eats Her Jewelry. Yeah, pretty wild. Kind of, I think the B-side is like kind of experimental jazz from what I remember. But yeah, it's from 1982. This band also generated, of course, a great solo artist, singer from it, namely Nina Cherry afterwards. And her single Buffalo Stance, a big hit back in the day. Love this track. Produced by Tim Simonon of Bomb the Bass. Some of that, sample-based hip-hop style tunes back in the day from Bomb the Bass. Then we got a little Bauhaus. This single is almost kind of ridiculous because of how short the actual track is. This is the Telegram Sam cover version. Great track. Still remember the video. Still love watching the video all the time. Found a copy of the single in the wild, so I had to pick it up. But it is kind of hilarious because just take a look at how short the amount of vinyl is on this record. On this side, that is the A side, Telegram Sam, and then the B side you've got Crowds and Rose Garden Funeral. On the flip, I'm not really sure what album Telegram Sam appears on. I don't think it shows up on any of their studio albums. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I think the only way to get it really on vinyl is the single. Then, of course, some offshoot projects from Bauhaus after they split. Got Love and Rockets here, Ball of Confusion. They were scheduled to play big tour last year, including a stop in Toronto. I would have went to see them, but show was canceled because the main act, Jane's Addiction, kind of had an implosion on stage at one of their shows, and that tour I don't think continued on. On the other side of the house from Bauhaus, you got Peter Murphy, of course. Final Solution is a great single, really. Big track. Still love that big breakdown where everything stops in the middle of the song. 2 left to go. Man, I'm running out of steam here. This is a track that I loved when I was younger. I always loved this track. It's actually a Brian Eno track, Babies on Fire, and the band's called The Creepers. UK 80s post-punk indie band. Very cool. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard this yet, but you need to if you're a David Byrne or Talking Heads fan. But this is the Thievery Corporation. Yeah, Thievery Corporation featuring David Byrne, Heart's a Lonely Hunter. Man, this is a great track. Huge house track back in the 2000s. And Louis Vega remix on here too. Got a couple copies of this. Very good single. All right, that's 30 singles for you, Rob. And special announcement, planning to do a live stream soon with Harris Pilton, also showing some singles, maybe of the house, electronic, techno kind of vibe. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys in the next one.